Hello, this is Don Emmett, Managing Director of Entrust Associates. We're here once again for the Small Business Insights of the Triangle. And today we're visiting with Cynthia of Ornamentea. Here we are in downtown Raleigh. So, Cynthia, welcome. And also, thank you for inviting us into your very interesting facility. Can you tell us about your business here at Ornamentea and how you got into it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're a bead and fine craft ingredients store. We sell lots of little things, many tiny sparkly items and tools that you can use to make those sparkly items into jewelry or other crafts. We got started about 15 years ago. We actually celebrated our 15th anniversary last month. And this business grew out of a previous business that I had where I designed and sold jewelry to catalogs and department stores. And lived here in Raleigh, traveled a lot for that business and wanted to be more centered here and spend less time traveling. So my husband left his corporate America job, and we sort of spent the first month or so of his, whatever vacation, I guess you would say, from corporate America, building out a space. We used to be down on Glenwood Avenue, and creating a little environment that was a bead store. There wasn't a place like that here in the Triangle, and I really wanted some place that sort of called out to the creative community and made a home for people to come and sit and make things or learn things or acquire all those great little sparkly things that we like to use. So that was the beginning of it.
Okay. And from visiting your website, it looks like also you have a significant, I'd say, internet presence. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we do. We ship worldwide. That's definitely a consistent part of our business and an important part of our business. A lot of the materials that we sell are hard to come by. We also have we offer a very edited selection of craft materials. So if someone is a beginner and they're really looking for where they can go to find the parts to make jewelry that's sort of on trend or more fashionable, we would have a good selection of those items. And then separately, we also offer some odd tools and bits and basics that the more experienced person might need and also have trouble finding. So, and not everyone is lucky enough to live within driving distance of Ornamentea. So, yeah, we really like folks to come here. Ideally, I think once you get inside, you have the full experience. But we try and make our website sort of a web version of our store if we can.
Okay, it does have the kind of similar look and feel.
Yeah, we try.
Ornamentea. I get the ornament.
Right.
Help me with the Tia part.
Yeah. Well, so that actually happened when the previous business was called Bedizened Ornaments, because I did decorative accessories for people, and then I also did some home products as well. So when we were getting ready to start the store, I did that thing that often people do, is we did a lot of batting around with names in the office, and had a wonderful office manager at that time who was also really just very playful with words, and she actually started out calling it Ornamentea with an IA, which it was Ornamentia, like dementia, because she thought it was a little crazy of us to open a bead store. So, but then we realized we didn't want people to pronounce it that way. So that was just kind of evolved over, many weeks of chit-chatting over our cups of coffee and, probably over a few glasses of wine and, just sort of jokingly trying to come up with a name that wasn't specifically tied just to the beads, because we sell fibers, we sell, other craft materials, we sell bookmaking supplies and papers. So we really wanted something that didn't just say beads, but it also talked about decorating and adorning and creating. So we made the word up.
Well, it's a great word. So when someone goes searching for Ornamentea,
we're it. Yeah,
you're it. So how long in this facility then? So when did the build out take place?
So we moved here. It was 12 years ago this past summer. I was actually pregnant with my first child when we moved here, so all of our pictures of the build-out involve me sort of with my giant baby belly. But we moved into this space, and at the time really thought, oh gosh, we'll never fill this building up. and that didn't last very long. Now we feel Raleigh has grown so much that we're, I don't want to say we're stuck here because we love this building, we love our location, but we would like more space, but also Raleigh has prospered and grown, so this is really becomes kind of our ideal space.
And the whole Glenwood South area.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you've really seen this
Yeah.
community blossom and come into a cool
Right.
area,
Yeah.
place to be.
Yeah. And we definitely, hope we add to some of that cool factor. We have our workspace here in the work table in the store. We have a lot of events. We have started this, it's most of the months of the year. It's 7 months of the year. We have an event called Pop-Up Sunday that's a community festival in our parking lot. And we have different charity event every month. And we have vintage vendors, vintage and antique vendors that set up. It's sort of like a flea market that you would find like in Austin, Texas, and New York and Los Angeles.
Okay.
They have those sort of vintagey flea markets, and we really felt like there wasn't a thing like that here in Raleigh. So we started that, and we've had a really great partnership with R.H. Jeffries for that. They have provided beer that we get donations for the charity with every month.
Okay.
So that's been a really fun thing. And that also adds to that whole Glenwood South sort of slightly fun,
Sure,
It's always
sure.
a party in Glenwood South. So...
So when, a significant undertaking going from somewhat of a hobby, and with some, I guess, corporate clients to a retail facility. And obviously the investment of time and money for the build out. When did you know, or what event took place that this is going to work. We're going to be successful.
Yeah, I would say that was actually before we came to this space. We were open on Glenwood Avenue. We had a store that was about 11 feet wide and about 8 feet deep. It was a teeny tiny little store. And we were down in the Carter building, which is still an artist studio building. But we had this tiny little space, and the very first Christmas season, we had, people literally lines out the door, which was a tiny store, so lines out the door is like 5 or 6 people standing in line, not that long. But,
Line's a line.
Right. And then, we thought, well, this will die down in January. And it was busier in January. And I thought, well, this is kind of crazy. Certainly this will die down in February. And then it was busier in February. And so it was one of those things that first, year or so we realized that there also was a really big pent-up demand in the Triangle. There are so many creative people here, so many people that want to make things and do things and try things. And I don't know that Ornamentea could work in many other cities, honestly, because we have such a supportive and open and eager creative community here that, in other places you might not have that group of people. So I think it was kind of right from the beginning we knew.
So it sounds like, next I was going to talk about, customer acquisition,
Right.
which doesn't seem to have been an issue, I guess. Is it a lot of word of mouth? How does the bead or the craft community find out about Ornamentea?
Yeah, customer acquisition in retail has gone through a big change, I would say, over the last 10 years. It used to be that you put a couple ads in the local paper, you put a phone book ad in there, in our case, we would put some ads in some trade, some craft magazines and things, and that was it, and you were done. But now with the advent of internet advertising and location-based services, people using their mobile phones all the time, we really have had to spend a lot of money and time and energy sort of figuring out how to get that information in front of people when they want it, because people are no longer flipping through the yellow pages. I mean, do you even have a phone book at home anymore? Most people often have tossed
pretty much goes right to the
Right,
recycling.
right. Yeah, because we all have the Google. So we that's part of our strategy with our website, with making it such a comprehensive part of our example of our store. And we also really try to connect with different communities and groups in the area. We allow a lot of local craft groups to use our classrooms when we don't have classes in there, and really try to make our store a place for people to come and be. I really, we have a work table, and I invite people to come and just hang out, meet a friend, get a soda. We have coffee or tea, enjoy. We have some ladies that come and knit here. We don't sell knitting supplies, but this is convenient between their two houses, and I love that. It just makes me really happy. So
obviously you can only do so much on your own, and it looks like you have a talented staff, people giving classes and all
Yeah.
that. And for most small businesses I speak to, you know, attracting, retaining good employees is one of their biggest challenges. How would you say, what's your philosophy on that, and what maybe some techniques
hard.
and strategies that you implement?
Yeah, that is definitely a difficult thing. You know, we advertise. We definitely look to customers. You know,
Okay.
we add customers sometimes as staff members. Do word of mouth through staff members through current staff. When we're hiring, the first people I tell are my current staff. You know, I'll say, you really, you know, do you have a friend that would like to work here? Do you know somebody that you think would be a good staff member? Retail's a really hard job, and our retail is particularly hard because our customers come through the door and need really specific technical advice, and then there's also a certain amount of sort of artistic hand-holding that we do, you know. So our staff have to have a good understanding of fashion, they have to have a good understanding of the technical aspects of it, and they also need to be able to handle, you know, all of our various procedures. So I interview a lot of people for every single job. You know, I really, I hate to admit it because I've been in business long enough that I should have, you know, a more organized process, but I really go a lot on my gut. And you know, you meet somebody and you just feel like this person really could be a good part of the staff. So we also really try to have a very supportive environment, and you know, I tell staff members all the time, everything is everybody's job. You know, if somebody didn't get something done, let's help them out, let's get it done, let's see what we can do to support and help each other. It's everyone's goal that when the customers come in, the store looks beautiful, the store is, you know, ready for them to shop, and we're ready to answer their questions. So
Looking back, what would you say the best advice have you got that you were given in your business or career?
yeah, I have been given some really great advice. I've been very fortunate because I first had a wholesale business, and I worked with some really amazing women who had retail chains. And so when I first started my store, I had the opportunity to really, you know, talk to some of these folks and sit down and get a lot of real good insight from them. And I was given some really great merchandise information, and I was also given the advice not to fall in love with your merchandise. I didn't follow that one. But definitely to regard your store as, your store environment as theater was a bit of advice that I was given. And to, you know, to realize that it's like a stage setting, and and I actually say,
showtime.
Yeah, we say to our staff members, like, you can have an awful day at home, but when we're on the store floor, it's the stage. So you've got to
We're on the set.
cheery. Yeah, you're on the set. And then also the set is, you know, all of this. We rearrange constantly here. Like, the customers come in, like if you come in every week, we've always moved something around.
What advice might you give to someone who has a hobby that would like to try to grow it into a business?
Well, two pieces that I think of. The first one is to make sure that you can do that without losing your love for it. Because, you know, I mean, we live 4 blocks away from the store. I'm in often 7 days a week. You know, my husband and I both work in the business. This is both our business and a big part of our lifestyle. So when you're making that transition, that's definitely something that you need to be aware of. Is that suitable for your personality and your, you know, love of your hobby? But then separately, I think you have to also be able to detach yourself a little bit from it. You know, just because you really love that specific product, like I was talking about, you know, falling in love with your merchandise, just because you really love it, you have to sort of, with really, you know, very sort of cold view, look at the market that you're in, look at the demographics of your area, think to yourself, well, if this is a fringe hobby, you know, what percentage of the population participate in it? You know, so what percentage of what is that number of people in your area that might participate in it, and how many of them are going to shop with you? And realistically, is that an income? You know, if it's not, then you have to think of something else, or maybe diversify, add some things that, you know, are related. That certainly is for us the case. You know, we have a lot of additional craft items that may or may not be jewelry items, but they definitely kind of go into that same niche. So, yeah, but it's a hard one. I mean, and you know, you risk, if you turn your hobby into your business, you risk losing your hobby. So
And losing your
And losing your business, yeah.
and losing your business, and losing your desire, your love
Right.
of what you were doing, and
Yeah.
it becomes a job.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of a passion.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't I mean, I definitely think that that's an entrepreneurial thing, is having something that you really care passionately about and really love. For us here, it's definitely spreading the idea that every single person can be crafty. Everybody can make things. We all have hands, and we can use them to make things. So, when people come in and they say, well, I don't know if I can make jewelry, I say, can you tie your shoes? And if they say yes, I say, then you can make jewelry. We can figure out a way for you to do that.
That's a great line.
Yeah, it's true. And so that, for me, that's my passion, is the transmitting of the idea that people can be makers. So, because that's my passion, I enjoy the customer interaction. I enjoy the working at the table, like you saw when you came in. If I was less of an extrovert and didn't enjoy that interaction, then if I just love the beads, then this might not be such a great business for me. So
that might be problematic. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I guess the next, that leads into the next question would be, what if any plans are there to grow which obviously have a brand here? Is there other parts of the triangle could support an Ornamentea, or more emphasis on the internet? What's the growth strategy do you have in mind?
Well, we did a few years ago. We opened a store in North Raleigh. It was branded slightly differently. It was also in the craft market. I learned something about myself from that, which was that I spent that entire 5 years that store was open feeling like I was a bird with two nests. Wherever I was, I thought I should be at the other place. If I worked twice as hard, and my customers would come in and say, well, I never see you anymore. And I was thinking, I work 7 days a week. How would you not see me? Because I was, I was at each store half as much. So I learned a lot about myself, and that my sort of love of my business is in being an owner-operator, not being this sort of, franchisee runner or anything like that. So for me personally, the growth has to come from like doing things with the internet, doing, we've started doing some things, selling more kits and doing more work with publishers. In the craft industry, there's definitely a lot to be done with online classes and things like that. So we're definitely moving in those directions. Okay. But really, a lot of my desire as a business owner is just to make this really nice, sustainable business that I can be part of and I can be in every day. So when that customer comes in with a question, they might get me, and I might give them a good answer, because that's part of my, part of what I get out of the business is that experience.
And as many entrepreneurs find out and learn that bigger isn't always better.
Bigger is not always better,
and
yeah.
often not as profitable.
No. It we doubled our expenses, didn't necessarily double our sales, and even when we did, it really wasn't enough to make up for the quadrupling of the stress. Yeah, right. So, this is a family-owned business too, so my husband and I have to balance,
Sure.
how much work each of us can do and does do. We have children, we have other things we want to do in life. So, we really try to make this, make it work for our family and the business. So,
well, that's about all I have. Cynthia, thank you very much for inviting us in. This has been a real treat and a joy. And,
yeah, it's been so good to talk to you, Don. I really enjoyed showing you around the store. So.
And thank you for watching us. This is Don Emmett for the Small Business Insights of the Triangle.